So finally, I have done my bookings for Bombay because मुझे लगता है कि जॉर्जिया नहीं जाना है. जॉर्जिया में ऑर्गेनाइज़र के साथ अगर कोई ईमेल कम्युनिकेशन है नहीं, कोई रिटन कम्युनिकेशन है नहीं, तो मेरा वहाँ पर जाना बिल्कुल बनता नहीं है. बिकॉज़ लास्ट एक्सपीरियंस, दुबई एक्सपीरियंस से मैं समझ गई हूँ कि कैसे ऑर्गेनाइजर्स can change their statements, and if there is no written communication, there is a lot of turbulence in the atmosphere, in the environment. और ये फाइट संग्राम की वैसे भी थोड़ी अलग जोन की फाइट है, सो आई डोंट वांट टू गेट इनटू दैट जोन वेयर आई एम द रीज़न फॉर हिम टू से गिविंग हिम स्ट्रेस. बिकॉज संग्राम का वैसे कुछ होता नहीं है, यू नो, बैड इंटेंशन, बट एक माहौल क्रिएट होता है जहाँ पे ही जस्ट वॉन्ट्स टू टारगेट मी. And I feel he targets me just because he can get some brownie points from his bro setup. Because आदमियों में होता होगा ना कि एक साथ बैठ के एक दूसरे की बीवियों की बुराइयाँ करें and they feel good about it, because men also gossip. It's not only that female only gossip. And I don't gossip, whether it's male or whether it's female setup. I just try to talk, but my talking is labeled as complaining. तो मैन करते होंगे गॉसिपिंग अपनी बीवी की, एंड संग्राम को कहीं ना कहीं वो इन्फ्लुएंस करता होगा. सो लेट मी नॉट गेट इन टू हिज वर्क एरिया. जॉर्जिया का फाइट है, लेट हिम फिगर इट आउट हिमसेल्फ. एंड एज इट इज़ दिल्ली में जो मिनिस्ट्री है उनके पास टिकट देने के भी पैसे नहीं हैं, होटल स्टे भी नहीं है. तो वो कह रहे हैं कि फ़ीस तो देना आउट ऑफ क्वेश्चन है, हम टिकट और होटल भी अफोर्ड नहीं कर सकते. आई डोंट अंडरस्टैंड. भारत मंडपम में आपका इवेंट हो रहा है और आपके पास टिकट और होटल स्टे के लिए भी बजट नहीं है. फॉर दोज स्पीकर्स हु आर वॉलंटरी ट्राइंग टू कोलैबोरेट विद योर ब्रांड, दैट्स ओके. मैं अभी जाके मिनिस्ट्री के साथ उनके रूल्स पे थोड़ा फाइट करने वाली हूँ. सो आई विल हेड टू बॉम्बे. बाद में कभी दिल्ली जाएंगे तो मिनिस्ट्री के कोई कॉन्टैक्ट को मिल लेंगे जो ये सेटअप से एसोसिएटेड है, क्योंकि वैसे भी इतनी जल्दी कुछ होने वाला है नहीं. लेट देम हैव देयर होल स्पीकर सेशन विद आंटीज़ एंड अंकल्स हु आर फ्रॉम द इंडस्ट्री. हम थोड़ा अपने ग्लैमर इंडस्ट्री पे कॉन्सेंट्रेट करें, बॉम्बे में कॉन्सेंट्रेट करें, एंड दैट्स इट. बिकॉज़ वो दुबई वाले इंसिडेंट के बाद मैं समझ गई कि ये लोग कुछ भी बोलेंगे, कहानियाँ बेचेंगे, एंड संग्राम विल कम एंड अटैक मी just because he won't know what is right and what is wrong at that moment, because maybe he might be stressed because of the fight, because he's the person supposed to be in the ring. So it's just best that I avoid Georgia completely. Yeah, baby.
President Trump, how would you negotiate with Netanyahu and also Hamas in order to get the hostages out and prevent the killing of more innocent civilians in Gaza?
If I were president, it would have never started. If I were president, Russia would have never, ever, I know Putin very well, he would have never, and there was no threat of it either, by the way, for 4 years, have gone into Ukraine and killed millions of people when you add it up. Far worse than people understand what's going on over there. But when she mentions about Israel, all of a sudden, she hates Israel. She wouldn't even meet with Netanyahu when he went to Congress to make a very important speech. She refused to be there because she was at a sorority party of hers. She wanted to go to the sorority party. She hates Israel. If she's president, I believe that Israel will not exist within 2 years from now. And I've been pretty good at predictions, and I hope I'm wrong about that one. She hates Israel. At the same time, in her own way, she hates the Arab population, because the whole place is going to get blown up. Arabs, Jewish people, Israel will be gone. It would have never happened. Iran was broke under Donald Trump. Now Iran has $300 billion because they took off all the sanctions that I had. Iran had no money for Hamas or Hezbollah or any of the 28 different spheres of terror. And they are spheres of terror, horrible terror. They had no money. It was a big story, and you know it. You covered it very well, actually. They had no money for terror. They were broke. Now they're a rich nation. And now what they're doing is they're spreading that money around. Look at what's happening with the Houthis and Yemen. Look at what's going on in the Middle East. This would have never happened. I will get that settled and fast, and I'll get the war with Ukraine and Russia ended. If I'm president-elect, I'll get it done before even becoming president.
Vice President Harris, he says you hate Israel.
That's absolutely not true. I have my entire career and life supported Israel and the Israeli people. He knows that. He's trying to, again, divide and distract from the reality, which is it is very well known that Donald Trump is weak and wrong on national security and foreign policy. It is well known that he admires dictators, wants to be a dictator on day one, according to himself. It is well known that he said of Putin that he can do whatever the hell he wants and go into Ukraine. It is well known that he said when Russia went into Ukraine, it was brilliant. It is well known he exchanged love letters with Kim Jong-un. And it is absolutely well known that these dictators and autocrats are rooting for you to be president again because they're so clear. They can manipulate you with flattery and favors. And that is why so many military leaders who you have worked with have told me you are a disgrace. That is why we understand that we have to have a president who is not consistently weak and wrong on
Vice
national
President
security,
Harris.
including the importance of upholding and respecting in highest regard our military.
Vice President Harris, thank you.
They're the ones, and she's the one that caused it, that's weak on national security by allowing every nation last month for the year, 168 different countries sending people into our country. Their crime rates are way down. Putin endorsed her last week, said, I hope she wins. And I think he meant it, because what he's gotten away with is absolutely incredible. It wouldn't have happened with me. The leaders of other countries think that they're weak and incompetent, and they are. They're grossly incompetent. And I just ask one question. Why does Biden go in and kill the Keystone Pipeline and approve the single biggest deal that Russia's ever made, Nord Stream 2, the biggest pipeline anywhere in the world going to Germany and all over Europe? Because they're weak and they're ineffective. And Biden, by the way,
President
gets paid
Trump,
a lot of money.
Thank you. We have a lot of issues to get to.
And I'll tell you what I would do. Why are we allowing these millions of people to come through on the southern border? How come she's not doing anything? And I'll tell you what I would do, and I would be very proud to do it. I would say we would both leave this debate right now. I'd like to see her go down to Washington, D.C. during this debate, because we're wasting a lot of time. Go down to, because she's been so bad, it's so ridiculous. Go down to Washington, D.C. and let her sign a bill to close up the border, because they have the right to do it. They don't need bills. They have the right to do it. The President of the United States, you'll get him out of bed. You'll wake him up at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. You'll say, come on down to the office. Let's sign a bill. If he signs a bill that the border is closed, all he has to do is say it to the Border Patrol, who are phenomenal. If they do that, the border is closed.
Mr.
Those
President,
people are killing many people, unlike J6.
If
you take a look at that period of time, the Taliban was killing our soldiers, a lot of them, with snipers. And I got involved with the Taliban because the Taliban was doing the killing. That's the fighting force within Afghanistan. They don't bother doing that because, you know, they deal with the wrong people all the time. But I got involved. And Abdul is the head of the Taliban. He is still the head of the Taliban. And I told Abdul, don't do it anymore. You do it anymore, you're going to have problems. And he said, why do you send me a picture of my house? I said, you're going to have to figure that out, Abdul. And for 18 months, we had nobody killed. We did have an agreement negotiated by Mike Pompeo. It was a very good agreement. The reason it was good, it was we were getting out. We would have been out faster than them, but we wouldn't have lost the soldiers. We wouldn't have left many Americans behind, and we wouldn't have left $85 billion worth of brand new, beautiful military equipment behind. And just to finish, they blew it. The agreement said you have to do this, and they didn't do it. They didn't do it. The agreement was terminated by us because they didn't do what they were supposed to do.
I want to move on.
And these people did the worst withdrawal and, in my opinion, the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. And by the way, that's why Russia attacked Ukraine, because they saw how incompetent she and her boss are.
During the Trump-Kamala Harris debate, live, because Sara मैं debate सुन नहीं पाई. I really hope they can make a capsule and run the deferred, recorded telecast recording of that live debate, because you get to understand how people are thinking, whether Kamala has been given the questions beforehand, whether Trump has been given the questions beforehand, we don't know. But what we know is that there is a migrant infiltration problem in America. Migrants are entering, and Trump ka card hai कि migrants who are entering inside America, they are causing a lot of loot, theft, murder and killing. Now, at present, the government, which is in America, has not been able to defend that accusation. मतलब वो इल्ज़ाम को वो defend नहीं कर पाई है. So anyways, Kamala represents women, Trump represents the dictatorship thought process, the chauvinist thought process, but I think impression अलग होता है. Impression के नीचे क्या human being का character है, that is more important. Yeah? Because after Biden came, you saw that whole Afghanistan Taliban thing happening. So kahin se bhi, no woman can justify what is happening in Afghanistan by the Taliban. And if that woman is justifying it, that means she's not a balanced person. Yeah. Whatever said and done, जो भी thought process, ideology, women को या disappear करती है. The Taliban ideology makes the woman disappear completely by covering it up, not giving her education, not giving her freedom to move, to express, just wanting to make her identity extinct by covering her up so that she is not recognizable. So that is something that a woman who wants to come into power needs to address, because that is something that should happen to no woman, but it's happening in 2024.